After 65, 9 foods that keep you moving, strong, and heart healthy. Have you ever woken up, stretched your legs, and wondered why your knees feel sore again? Or perhaps you've noticed that walking across the room seems more challenging than it did last year. Many people dismiss these feelings, attributing them to aging, but the truth is more nuanced. After 65, your body undergoes subtle yet significant changes. A common misconception among my patients is thinking that healthy food is universally beneficial. That fruit juice you enjoy, those low-fat crackers, or that big bowl of oatmeal might have been ideal in your 30s. However, now they could be contributing to joint inflammation, muscle fatigue, and heart strain. As a doctor with over 40 years of experience working with seniors, I can assure you that eating well after 65 is no longer just about calories or cholesterol. It's about adapting to your body's evolving needs. Choosing foods that cater to aging cartilage, shrinking muscles, and less flexible blood vessels is key. Here's the good news. When you make wise dietary choices, the benefits can be remarkable. You'll notice less joint pain, stronger legs, and a steadier heartbeat. This video aims to guide you in selecting the most beneficial foods for joint health, muscle strength, and heart wellness. These foods do more than just satisfy hunger, they help rejuvenate what time has worn down. If you're ready to age smarter, not just older, tap subscribe and share your biggest health concerns in the comments. Let's embark on this journey together. Before we dive into our list of foods, let's understand what's happening in your body after 65. This insight will make everything else clearer. Aging doesn't occur overnight. It creeps in gradually. You might notice your balance is slightly off one morning, or that stairs seem steeper. Eventually, you realize your body doesn't recover as it once did. But why? Let's begin with your joints. As we age, the protective cartilage cushioning our knees, hips, and fingers starts to wear down. This cushion becomes thinner, drier, and less elastic. Simultaneously, your body produces less synovial fluid, the natural lubricant for smooth joint movement, leading to stiffness, pain, and inflammation, even from simple actions like standing up or reaching for a cup. Now, let's discuss muscles. After 65, most people experience a 1–2% loss of muscle mass annually, a condition known as sarcopenia. Though silent, it's impactful. Your legs may weaken, your posture might shift, and stairs can feel daunting. The most concerning part is that losing muscle doesn't just equate to weakness, it also means a slower metabolism, reduced balance, and a heightened risk of falls. And then there's the heart. As we age, our hearts may not pump as efficiently, our arteries can become stiffer, blood pressure might increase, and cholesterol tends to build up more easily. Alongside reduced activity and poor nutrition, these changes heighten the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and ongoing fatigue. Perhaps the most challenging aspect is that these changes often aren't sudden, at least not at first. They progress slowly, making them easy to overlook until one day they're impossible to ignore. That's why your diet becomes increasingly important now. Food is more than just fuel, it's information. The right nutrients can help soothe your joints, encourage your muscles to rebuild, and support your heart in beating more easily. As we move forward, remember this. What you choose to eat after 65 can be the most powerful medicine you give your body each day. Let's start with the first category. Foods that protect your joints, reduce inflammation, and restore smooth movement to your body. Joint pain doesn't announce itself with a loud bang. It arrives quietly and gradually. One morning, you might find kneeling to tie your shoes is harder. A few months later, you might avoid certain chairs because standing up feels like climbing a mountain. Over time, the soft creak in your knees can grow into a constant heavy ache that follows your every step. What's worse is the silent suffering we endure, often dismissed as just getting older. But just because something is common doesn't mean it's acceptable. After 65, your joints face new pressures. The cartilage that cushioned your bones may thin, the fluid that once lubricated your movements can dry up, and your immune system might become more reactive, sending low-grade inflammation to places it shouldn't. This is when the slow grind, stiffness, and pain begin affecting you even when you're still. Here's what many don't realize: that pain isn't just about age, it's about inflammation. And inflammation is something we can influence not with expensive procedures or pills that only mask the symptoms, but with food. Real, healing food that speaks the body's language. I've seen it firsthand in my patients. Those who struggled with stairs slowly regained mobility not because of injections, but because of changes to their diet. Let's discuss fish, particularly fatty, cold water fish like salmon and sardines. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, acting like natural fire extinguishers within your joints. They help cool the heat, ease the swelling, and soften the tightness that's been building up for years. I've had patients who couldn't sit cross-legged for a decade tell me that after just a month of eating salmon twice a week, they noticed something shift. A little less pain in the morning, a bit more ease climbing the stairs. That's not a miracle. That's biochemistry, and your body responding to what it truly needs. Now, I understand. Some of us might not enjoy fish or find it hard to buy often. That's perfectly okay. There are other ways to send the same healing message to your joints. Seeds, tiny ones like Chia and Flax, hold surprising power. Inside them is a plant-based form of omega-3 that helps reduce systemic inflammation. Just a spoonful in your morning oatmeal or yogurt can become a quiet, daily act of kindness for your knees. But don't just sprinkle them dry. Soak them, blend them, let your body access their full potential. And if you've got a spice rack, you might already own one of the oldest joint remedies on the planet, turmeric. Not the turmeric in deep-fried curry puffs, but the pure golden powder stirred gently into warm milk or tea. Its active compound, curcumin, doesn't just reduce inflammation. It communicates with your body at the cellular level, telling those overactive immune cells to calm down because they are doing more harm than good. But curcumin has a quiet condition: it needs a partner. Black pepper, with its compound piperine, unlocks its full power. Without pepper, turmeric is a whisper. With it, it's a symphony. One of my favorite nighttime rituals is a warm mug of turmeric milk with a pinch of pepper and a drop of coconut oil. It's gentle, grounding, and over time, it softens the stiffness that once made mornings difficult. If you've got a sweet tooth, you're not left out. Nature offers some of the most delicious medicine in the form of berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Their deep colors are more than just beauty. They're signs of anthocyanins, compounds that block inflammation and protect the connective tissues in your joints. They're the kind of dessert your knees will appreciate. Now imagine this: replacing your afternoon cookie with a handful of berries. Not as exciting at first, maybe. But what if I told you that 1 cup a day can actually lower inflammatory markers in your blood? That's not theory. That's clinical data. And while we're sipping and swapping, let's talk about what's in your cup. Is it soda or sugary iced tea? What if, just once a day, you chose green tea instead? Green tea isn't flashy, but it contains EGCG, a compound that may actually help preserve cartilage and protect joint tissue. It won't act overnight, but over weeks and months it becomes a slow, steady ally, like a quiet friend who always shows up. And yes, it's perfectly fine to sweeten it with a little honey or squeeze in some lemon for added antioxidant support, but let it become part of your routine. Something that gently reminds your joints, I'm still taking care of you. Now, let's be realistic. None of this is a magic bullet. You won't wake up tomorrow dancing just because you drank a cup of tea or ate some fish. But these choices add up. They matter. They're the difference between a sharp pain and a dull ache, between needing assistance and walking to the mailbox on your own. One of my older patients once shared with me, the moment I stopped eating just for taste and started eating with my knees in mind, that's when I regained my freedom. And that's what I want for you. You don't have to change everything overnight. Start with one small step, maybe a spoonful of chia in your breakfast, a switch from cookies to blueberries, or a warm turmeric latte after dinner. Small hinges open big doors. Because while your joints may be aging, they're still listening, still capable of healing, and still grateful when you choose foods that respect their journey. Now that we've nourished the joints, let's discuss the next crucial pillar of strength after 65, your muscles. Because no matter how healthy your knees are, if your legs can't support you, balance will let you down. That's where we're heading next. Foods that help build muscle after age 65. Strength doesn't disappear overnight. It slips away gradually, one step at a time, one bag of groceries at a time, one long pause before standing up. It starts with something small. Maybe you start using your arms to push off the couch, or you avoid taking the stairs, not because you're tired, but because you no longer trust your legs. You tell yourself it's just aging, but deep down, you know it's more than that. After 65, the body enters a new phase where muscle loss isn't just possible, it's expected. It's called sarcopenia, and it creeps in quietly. You lose 1 to 2% of your muscle mass each year, and with that loss comes less power, less balance, slower recovery, and most importantly, less independence. I've seen it happen too often. A healthy, sharp senior suffers a simple fall, a hip fracture, a hospital stay, and they never quite return to the life they had before. But here's what gives me hope, and should give you hope too. Muscle can be rebuilt, even in your 70s, even in your 80s. The key isn't just exercise, it starts at the table. Food isn't just fuel for older adults, it's building material. And some foods are better at rebuilding than others. One of the simplest and most overlooked is the humble egg. A whole egg, not just the white, is rich in high-quality protein and leucine, an amino acid that signals your body to build muscle. Many older adults avoid the yolk, worried about cholesterol, but the truth is, the yolk contains most of the nutrients your muscles and nerves depend on, especially after 65. Having a soft-boiled or poached egg each morning might seem like a small gesture, but to your body, it's a message. Let's rebuild. If you prefer something gentler and cooling, consider Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. These not only provide complete proteins, but also contain casein, a slow-digesting protein that nourishes your muscles throughout the night. Yes, what you eat in the evening can aid muscle recovery while you sleep. Top it with a little fruit or flaxseed, and you have a dessert that not only tastes good, but keeps you strong. Of course, main meals are important too. For lunch or dinner, salmon and chicken breast are excellent choices. They offer lean protein without the inflammation risks associated with red meat. Salmon, in particular, provides a dual-benefit protein for muscles and omega-3s to help reduce muscle breakdown and support your joints. A grilled salmon fillet, lightly seasoned and enjoyed just twice a week, can significantly impact how you feel and move through your day. But what if you don't eat meat or are cutting back? Tofu, edamame, and organic soybeans are complete plant proteins, rich in all 9 essential amino acids. For older adults who find meat heavy or hard to digest, these soy-based options offer a gentler, gut-friendly way to maintain strength. Now, here's something many people don't hear about: HMB. It's a natural compound your body makes from leucine, playing a crucial role in protecting muscles from breaking down. As you age, your natural HMB levels drop just when you need them most. But you can support them with foods like avocado, mushrooms, and fresh orange juice, simple everyday ingredients that quietly help preserve what matters most. Let's talk energy, because even the best protein won't help if your body lacks the fuel to use it. Whole grains like oats and quinoa provide steady energy and come with bonus minerals like magnesium and phosphorus that support muscle function and repair. Start your morning with warm oats topped with chia seeds, a spoon of yogurt, and perhaps a slice of banana. That's not just breakfast, that's a strategy. But don't feel you have to do it all at once. Start with one habit. Maybe it's adding an egg to your breakfast. Maybe it's switching your dessert to Greek yogurt with honey and nuts. Perhaps tonight, instead of skipping dinner, you prepare a small tofu stir-fry. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. Every muscle fiber you protect today is a step you can still take tomorrow. Every gram of protein you absorb is 1 more ounce of strength you carry into next week. At this stage of life, strength isn't about lifting heavy weights. It's about rising from your chair without help, climbing the stairs without fear, and carrying your groceries without thinking twice. I'll never forget what one patient told me after we revamped his diet. I didn't realize how much strength I had lost until I began to regain it. That's the power of food. When you let it heal you, your muscles aren't gone, they're simply waiting. They're waiting for you to nourish them, waiting for another chance to carry you through life with power and grace. Now that we've discussed fueling your strength, let's focus on an organ that never rests, your heart. Even strong legs need steady circulation to keep moving forward. Let's talk about foods that support heart health after age 65. Your heart doesn't get a break. Whether you're asleep, chatting, laughing, or quietly reading, it keeps working tirelessly, beating over 100,000 times a day without pause. However, after 60, even this tireless organ starts to feel the years. You might first notice it as a slight flutter when climbing stairs, a brief dizziness when standing too quickly, or a strange pressure in your chest when walking to the mailbox on a hot day. You might dismiss it, telling yourself it's nothing, but deep down, you know your heart is asking for help not just from doctors or medication, but from you. The most powerful support you can offer comes not from a prescription, but from your kitchen. What you eat influences more than just your weight, blood sugar, or energy levels. It impacts the elasticity of your arteries and the ease with which your blood flows, helping your heart deliver life to every part of your body. The good news is that even small dietary changes can begin to rejuvenate a tired heart. Let's start with something creamy and green: avocado. For years, fat was seen as the enemy of heart health, but now we know it's the type of fat that matters. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, which help lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, while maintaining HDL, the good kind. They're also high in potassium, which gently helps regulate blood pressure without side effects. Just half an avocado a day, whether mashed on toast, blended into a smoothie, or sliced in a salad, can nourish your heart without overworking it. But a heart also needs crunch. It needs the wisdom of trees like nuts and seeds, grown slowly and silently. Walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds, they're more than just snacks. They're tiny vessels of omega-3s, magnesium, and antioxidants that soothe the inner lining of blood vessels and keep arteries flexible. I often advise enjoying a small handful, not a whole bag, because even the healthiest foods lose their value when overconsumed. Balance is true medicine. When it comes to balance, few things help like whole grains. Forget the fluffy white bread and sugary cereals. Your heart thrives on fiber, particularly soluble fiber, which binds to excess cholesterol in the bloodstream and assists your body in naturally eliminating it. Oats are a classic choice, and so is barley. You don't need to completely switch your diet. Just incorporate whole grains a few times a week and observe the positive changes. Now, let's explore something sharp and aromatic: garlic. It's not just for flavor, but also for its health benefits. Garlic has been shown to lower blood pressure, reduce arterial stiffness, and slightly thin the blood, helping it flow more smoothly. Crush a fresh clove and let it sit for 10 minutes before cooking to activate its beneficial compounds. If you prefer, consider aged garlic supplements, but always consult your doctor, especially if you're on blood thinners. For sweetness, you don't have to give up fruit. Just make thoughtful choices. Apples and oranges, two familiar fruits, contain pectin, a type of soluble fiber that helps remove LDL cholesterol from your bloodstream. Remember to eat the whole fruit, not just the juice, because the fiber resides in the skin and pulp, making the difference. Lastly, the oil you cook with is more important than many realize. Extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed and rich, has been a cornerstone of heart-healthy diets for centuries. It's not just a trend. It reduces inflammation, supports the health of blood vessels, and helps prevent the oxidation of cholesterol, a root cause of plaque buildup. Use it raw when you can drizzle over vegetables or stir into soup just before serving. Replace margarine, butter, and cheap frying oils with olive oil, and your heart will thank you. Now let's be honest, changing your diet isn't always easy, especially if you've eaten a certain way for decades. But this isn't about guilt or perfection. It's about making choices, and the quiet power of small, consistent actions until they become part of who you are. Perhaps it starts with a bowl of oats tomorrow morning or choosing a slice of apple instead of a cookie tonight. Maybe it's buying your first bottle of quality olive oil and moving away from the processed kind. Each choice is an act of care for your body and your life, because your heart, this tireless engine, has carried you through everything: love, loss, storms, and calm, and it's still with you, asking for one thing: help me keep going. You don't need to become a different person. You just need to eat like someone who wants to be here longer, stronger, and steadier. So as we care for your joints, rebuild your muscles, and support your heart, let's turn to an expert's perspective. I've been a doctor for over 20 years. I've sat with countless patients in their 60s, 70s, and even 90s. Each has their own story, their own struggles, and their quiet concerns about the future. Yet, one question often arises, spoken or not: is it too late for me? My answer is always the same: it's never too late. If you're still here, your body is ready to heal. It may not recover as quickly as before, but it listens, responds, and remembers. I recall a patient named Marjorie, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Indiana. She came to my office using a cane, with aching knees, rising blood pressure, and constant fatigue. She said, "Doc, I feel like my body's giving up on me. I don't sleep well, my legs are weak, and I haven't felt like myself in years." Instead of adding another prescription, we started with her breakfast. She switched sugary cereal for steel-cut oats with berries and a sprinkle of flaxseed. She added avocado toast twice a week, reduced red meat, and enjoyed a warm cup of turmeric tea each night before bed. She didn't join a gym or follow a trendy detox. She made simple, steady, real changes. And here's what happened. 3 months later, she returned without a cane. She said, "I didn't notice the difference at first, but one morning I stood up from the couch without thinking and realized I didn't need help." That's the change we're aiming for, not sudden transformation, but a quiet return to strength. The issue with most health advice is that it suggests you need to overhaul everything or be perfect. Real health after 65 isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about asking simple questions each day. Will this meal help me move easier tomorrow? Will it help me sleep better tonight? Will my heart, my knees, my muscles thank me for it? That's the kind of diet that lasts, not one that deprives you, but one that supports you meal by meal, week by week. Here's the beautiful truth. Your body doesn't care how long you've waited, it cares that you start now. Every leafy green, every teaspoon of olive oil, every step toward self-care is remembered and will be rewarded. So begin where you are, not where you think you should be. You don't need fancy supplements or to be perfect. Just start with respect and continue with it. If you do, this body you've carried for decades will carry you a little further, with gratitude. So here we are, having explored the body, one system at a time, from aching joints to fading muscles, to a heart that supported you every day. And now, perhaps for the first time in a long time, you see that your body isn't giving up. It's simply asking for something different, something wiser, something more in tune with this stage of life. The truth is, aging isn't a decline, it's a shift. And if you shift with it gently and consistently, you don't just survive, you thrive. Today, you've learned that the foods you choose can help reduce inflammation, protect your joints, rebuild your strength, and support a heart that still has so much love and life left to give. You don't need a perfect diet, and you don't need to change everything, but you do need to start. So here's my suggestion. Look back at the foods we discussed today. Pick just 3 that you enjoy or are willing to try, and commit to adding them into your next few meals. Not because you're on a diet, but because you're building something stronger, something steadier, something worth preserving. And if you found even one insight today that helped you feel hopeful again, leave us a comment below. Share your age, your favorite healthy meal, or the change you're going to make this week. We'd love to hear your voice.